being in the world but not of it. How can we balance our spiritual detachment while fulfilling our worldly responsibilities with sincerity, earnestly, honesty? What does it truly mean to be in the world but not of it? How does the worldly life relate to the soul and enlightenment? So we need to engage with the world practically and responsibly. At the same time, we maintain our focus on the inner spiritual liberation with all the practices on the path. It is therefore important to learn to detach from materialism and ego and to align with the soul's true essence that transcends the worldly life. So we live our lives practically and responsibly while we find more and more fulfillment inwardly. We need to learn to detach from illusions and attachments of the world. However, in our daily life, we need to fulfill our responsibilities to the work, family, society as a whole with honesty and without being consumed by the work, by the family, or by society, because our sojourn in this world is brief. For our eternal soul, it is just a moment in time, this life. However, it provides a great opportunity for the soul to rise above, to ascend, to release the karma into higher and higher eternal life. While living in the world, we need to have a mindset of cultivating awareness, always remembering that this life is temporary experience for our soul. We need to prioritize meditation, alignment with the divine light sound stream, rising up our spiritual path towards greater liberation, self-realization. We need to avoid excessive attachment to sensory pleasures, wealth, or power. And we use them as tools only. Because the ultimate goal is to realize who we truly are, to realize God within us, and to liberate our soul from all karma in the lower regions of creation so that it can return to the divine nature, to the eternal realm beyond material world and creation. So the worldly ways are actually incompatible with the divine. For those who have tasted the bliss of the true home, of the radiance and love eternal of Satpurush, which alone is true, this world is only a fleeting moment. a transitory station. As some of the great masters say, we need to give up the fear and regard for the world. Perform devotion to the God Supreme, whichever path you follow, and detach the mind from this world, except to the extent that it's necessary for daily duties and responsibilities. But even while performing those, we can still have our focus on the Supreme Being. As Kirpal Singh says, let your love be for the Lord and do your worldly duties as a matter of routine without attachment. So we live with duty, but without desire. We engage in the worldly duties of earning, living, caring for family responsibly, but not entangling in the ego, greed, or emotional over attachment. We do not invest all that we have in the world, because the true investment is in our inner self. We will leave the world behind shortly, but what remains is our inner true nature. Because the world is impermanent. Everything is transient, but the soul's true home lies beyond this realm. Therefore, meditation is our anchor. A regular practice is necessary of constant remembrance of our soul and the Supreme Being from which the soul came forth. So therefore, day by day, we need to reattune and contemplate the divine light sound stream that keeps us focused on the divine, keeps us aligned on the upward path. The divine light sound stream is also like the insurance that you don't need to pay for annually or yearly, because it prevents us from being swayed in the worldly distractions, from being lost, overwhelmed, attached, and distracted. To keep a balance, we need to avoid extremes, neither renouncing the world entirely, for example, becoming an ascetic, renunciate, like a monk or nun, and neither drowning in the worldly pleasures. So we strike a balance by living simply, comfortably, ethically, not too much of anything. And we have to be careful of illusions of Maya and the traps of Kal Niranjan, understanding that the material world is veiled by many illusions, many mirages in the desert. This world is a spiritual desert. There are only very few oases. This world is designed to entrap the soul for the souls who are young and weak, or to test and refine more mature souls. Therefore, as Buddha emphasized, we need to focus on compassionate living, living with love and humility, wisdom, and remaining unattached by judgments, criticism, or societal pressures. Because our soul's ultimate purpose is to disentangle from the web of illusion and to rise and become free again. To remember our true home, God Supreme. To remember what is the true birthplace of the soul, and to make our way back home. As great master Sadhguru Sawan Singh said, live in the world as a traveler who can stay in a lodge for the night, but keep your destination in sight, because your true home is beyond this fleeting existence. We can't let even a single day pass without inner meditation, because the world has a tendency to pull you outwardly. The soul's freedom lies within. The world is like a dream. It appears to be real. It seems to be real. It feels to be real. But actually, it is a play of shadows. So the wise one, the masters, live in it, but do not cling to it. They seek only the eternal truth within. The divine light sound stream is a living essence. It is the spirit of the supreme being, the true one. With patience and practice, dedication, you will get the glimpse of that true light. You will be able to rise above the entanglements of the physical existence Pinda, subtle existence of Anda, cosmic existence of Brahmanda, and even the supra-universal existence beyond. So that's why we need to train ourselves to have our inner attention fixed on the divine light sound stream. And with the help of the guide, and remember that the guide has two forms. A guide has a physical living form as your teacher, as a guide, but also the guide has the inner radiant form that works with you tirelessly on the higher planes. This communion is extremely supportive. More and more people come to us and they say, we are realizing more and more that without the Sadguru, the soul is lost. in cycles upon cycles. So many camping zones there are on this path. So many interesting distractions can arise, not only in the outward world, but on the inner world as well. And therefore, people are grateful for our reminders and inner assistance on this great path. So therefore, engage with the world by being practical, coming to your higher states of consciousness, especially your full consciousness. You gain a great strength and capacity to do whatever comes your way and to be fully present with whatever is right now. Whatever life throws at you, you can take it. You can be with it. You have ability to handle it. At the same time, we must always keep our focus on love and devotion to the supreme source, the self, ever existent now, and always remembering the divine light sound stream as a path upwards, as an insurance. So this is how we can remain unaffected by worldly distractions and attachments. This is how we can appreciate every beautiful experience and spiritual inner experiences. This is how we can appreciate the ever higher blissful light. But at the same time, we are reminded that the light never ends, that love is an eternal ocean, that there is no end, and there is no absolute apart from eternal love and bliss, ever deeper, ever higher. Those who truly realize this, who truly live it, they have a quality of humility, because humility reminds us of the ever greater existence. Without humility, there is a danger of ego and pride. Even some of the realized beings of non-duality or awareness, they begin to speak of only this or only that, or neither this and neither that. Nothing is more than this or that. A typical play of power. But humility is yet a higher, softer approach of power. Because true power is transcendent, is soft, and yet sharp. So a great lesson of life, many years I realized ago, this is something that we emphasize at the presence level of consciousness, to adopt the feminine softness, like the water, which can overflow any obstacle. We don't need hammer or a jigger to punch through all the rocks and mountains. We can overflow them gently and softly as the water flows. This principle is beautifully exemplified in the Tao Te Ching teachings. And as we reach upwards towards the divine, we begin to embody this approach. We learn to become that softness and sharpness, but transcendent of all obstacles on the path. So therefore, this life is a great teacher of extremes. And to live this life successfully, we simply must fulfill our duties and responsibilities. And to realize that the true success beyond the reach of most powerful and wealthy people on this planet is the spiritual upward path. Because even the most successful and rich and powerful people on this earth, they're greatly entangled by the webs of karma. Their souls are trapped in the cage. Their life is already entangled in all the mental and astral influences and webs of illusion. And there we have a simple person living a simple life, but with all the true riches and wealths of the soul and love for God and divine. So which soul will enter the heaven? The all-powerful, wealthy, rich, entangled, illusioned, and trapped person, or the simple one with the true wealth of love and wisdom and devotion to God. So therefore, what is true success of this life? It is exactly the opposite of what the world teaches us. These days, there is a saying, if you want to know the truth, just switch over the mainstream media to the other side. Wherever television, whatever the world tells you, the exact opposite is the truth.